Hi there. Welcome to Yoga for Beginners with Laughing Lotus. My name is Zoe. I'll be teaching your class today. The next slide will have everything that you need to get ready for your practice. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so everybody, fold up your blanket, find a comfortable seat. For most people, that means sitting cross-legged, and your seat is on the edge of the blanket so that your knees can fall a little farther down. This is really supportive for the low back. If you need a different position, such as your feet out in front of you, or whatever works for you, this is a practice that is really designed to meet you where you're at, giving yourself all the adjustments that'll make you feel most comfortable, most able to relax and settle into your seat. So once again, welcome everyone. A namaste to all of you who've come to join. Namaste in Sanskrit means that the light of goodness in me recognizes and honors the light of goodness in you. And in India, that is a kind of day-to-day greeting, but it's quite profound. So I'm glad that you all have come to take this little journey with us, and I recognize and honor that really beautiful divine spark of goodness that's in all of us, and that we use the yoga to help that emerge a little more in our daily lives. So first we start with a little background. I invite you to bring your hands right to your thighs, let the whole chest relax, the crown can sit up tall. You may think of this first few minutes as a little bit of a meditation. You settle into your breath, arrive to the body, arrive to the practice. You're welcome to close the eyes. I'm going to be talking a little bit to give you some information to prepare you for the practice, so you can see what feels most comfortable for you. So yoga as a tradition and as a practice is an ancient practice. It comes from India, and at its root, it is made up of guidelines for life. It's not just this physical movement that has become so popular, but it's steps and suggestions for us all to take in order to find calm and happiness and connection to spirit, connection to the deepest parts of yourself, connection to the divine, whatever really brings that sensation of recognizing that we are a piece of the whole, and how to integrate our mind, our physical body, and that piece of the soul. So there are 4 paths of yoga, of traditional yoga. One of them being the asana, which means the practice in the body, which is what we will primarily be focusing on today, and which is what you generally get when you sign up for a yoga class. Asana means, it has a few different translations, but in many ways it means the seat for the breath. So when we are in an asana, when we are in a physical yoga position, we're really giving a new perspective, a new place for the breath to enter and for the breath to start to move through the body in new ways, right? Each breath is a new opportunity to refresh and replenish the body. The second path of yoga is called karma yoga, which is the yoga of action. So yoga also encourages you to always be mindful of your actions, and to act in kindness and without harm. Another path of yoga is called bhakti yoga, is the yoga of devotion. This is a little bit more of a spiritual side of the yoga practice that involves chanting sacred mantras, Sanskrit mantras, as well as it's intertwined definitely with karma yoga, putting love into action. And the final path of yoga is called Jama, which is the intellect. And Jama yoga, which is a very, very important part of the yoga practice, encourages us all to keep ourselves educated and informed, and to keep the mind stimulated, because in this physical world, our mind is our connection to the outside and to the inside. And so when we can continue to grow and cultivate compassion, curiosity, which are all aspects of learning and intellect, this gives you a well-rounded and prosperous experience. So moving on a little more specifically to the asana practice, and particularly that we practice here at Laughing Lotus, well, here at Laughing Lotus, is called Lotus Flow Vinyasa. And Lotus Flow is a specific kind of asana practice that involves mantra or positive words and positive thought, which sometimes the teacher might call it a dharma talk, giving you some pieces of wisdom to hold on throughout your physical movements. Some meditation, whether that be this kind of meditation where we're quite alert, but still breathing calmly into the body, as well as pranayama, which is the practice of controlling the breath. And sometimes pranayama is simply noticing the natural inhale and exhale. Other times, pranayama is the practice of changing your breath pattern to look for a different result. Sometimes we find a heating breath pattern or a calming breath pattern. Today, we're not going to go too much into that, but if you were ever to step into another Lotus Flow class, you are likely to learn a new pranayama practice. And finally, one of the most important parts of the Lotus Flow practice is that we move through the chakra system. The chakras are the energy centers of the body that are lining up from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. And this is a strong basis for the yoga philosophy, but it's also a proven scientific fact that we have these strong energy centers in our body that we can bring awareness to and cultivate a little more openness, a little more engagement of these centers. So I'll speak just a little bit about that during our practice, but just so that you know, we have 7 energy centers. Starting from the root, we have our root chakra, and then between the hips, we have our chakra based on creativity, sensuality, and then right above the belly button is our core, is our solar plexus chakra, which has to do with confidence. And then we come up into the heart. This is our heart chakra, of course, having to do with compassion, as well as taking action. And then the throat chakra has to do with your voice and honesty and speaking truth to power. Then into the third eye, right between the eyebrows is our third eye chakra, which is having to do with intuition and intelligence. And then finally, the 7th chakra lies above the head, which is our connection to the rest of the world, as well as to spirit and divine and whatever energy you're trying to connect to. And finally, know that the Lotus Flow is called Vinyasa because the Vinyasa style of yoga asks that we do 1 breath per movement. There will be some times where we hold a movement for a position for 3 or 4 breaths, but generally it's a very active, moving practice that we bring focus to the breath and the body and making those connected, as well as our actions and our intentions. And one final note is that a very important aspect of the yoga practice is satsang, which is community. So this is why we take yoga classes and why we do trainings and we try to come together in our learning practice. Because with community and learning and making time to develop a relationship to self and to the universe, we can enter the world a little bit more open, compassionate, and ready to take on challenges. So that's all the talking I'll do. Take another moment to firmly plant your hands into your thighs. Your next deep breath in, reach up through the crown of the head, lengthening the back of the neck, tucking the chin just a little bit. Let out a sigh from your mouth. Soften the low back and the belly and a little bit. And then I invite you to close your eyes. And if you can, close your lips and let the breath come in and out through the nose. And spending 3 or 4 breaths, just noticing what your natural breath feels like. And maybe, if you feel comfortable to do so, lengthening the breath, maybe by 1 second. Filling up even more. Take another 2 deep breaths, really allowing yourself to arrive to the practice. And perhaps you give yourself an intention. It can truly be anything that you would like to commit to or offer up in this practice. If you find that that's something difficult to do, I invite you to make your intention always come back to the breath. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. And slowly let the eyes drift open. We move right into our physical practice. So you'll remove your blanket, put it off to one side. We'll use it again later. And then your feet will come out in front of you. Your knees point up, fingers point forward with hands right behind the hips. And we find an altar pose to begin our practice. You inhale to press into the feet and into the hands to lift the hips. Exhale to drop the head back. A deep exhale. Inhale to stay here, stay lifted. Your exhale, maybe you stick out your tongue. We call this a lion's breath. And then slowly lower the hips down, bring the chin in towards the chest. From here, we're going to do a few pelvic tilts. It's kind of like a cat and cow movement. Your inhale, you tilt the pelvis forward, roll the shoulders back, the heart reaches forward a little bit, and then exhale to roll the tailbone down a little bit, and you roll a circle into yourself. Yeah. Inhale to tilt the pelvis, open the heart, roll the shoulders back. Exhale to roll back on the tailbone. Do one more time like that. Inhale. Exhale. And then lengthen the spine up, cross the ankles, roll over the knees, and find all fours. You're definitely welcome to bring the blanket underneath your knees if you need a little bit of extra padding. We may come onto our knees a few times today. So when you're on all fours, you want to find even spacing between knees and wrists. So you want your wrists right underneath the shoulders, the knees right underneath the hips, the spine nice and long. Maybe you notice that length of your tailbone to your crown. Spread the fingers really wide. Your first finger is pointing forward. And then we start a few movements of cat and cow. Inhaling, you drop the belly button, flick the tailbone up, roll the shoulders back, your heart reaches forward, maybe the eyes look up. Exhale to drop the tailbone down, lift the belly button up towards the spine, press into the hands to lift the shoulders. Inhale to drop the belly, reach the heart forward, look up. Exhale to press into the hands, create space between the shoulder blades as you round your back body. Take 3 more rounds like that, inhaling to drop the belly, looking up. Exhaling to slowly curl the back. Yeah, 1 more. We're just waking up the spine, open the heart. Exhale. Beautiful. Great job, everyone. And then find your neutral spine again, lengthening from tailbone to crown. Your next inhale, you're going to lengthen your right leg back. Exhale, knee comes in towards your nose as you round the back body. Inhale to lengthen the leg back, look forward, create a nice long line. Exhale, knee in towards your nose, press into the hands to lift. Take 1 more, inhale to lengthen the leg, look forward. Exhale, knee in towards your nose. And then you're going to wiggle or step your foot in between your thumbs. However you get there is okay. You want to adjust yourself enough so that your knee comes right over the ankle. Pressing the whole foot into the ground. If you have 2 blocks or 2 pieces of support and you need a little bit more lift, this is a nice place to take it. If you find that you don't need it, you absolutely don't have to take it. And take another few deep breaths, sinking the hips down a little bit. Maybe you have to move that back knee back if you are looking for a little bit more of a stretch. Take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. And then you're going to tuck your left toes into the ground. Pick up the left knee as you lengthen the left heel towards the back of the mat. Keep the heart lifted if you can. Roll the shoulders back. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then you can drop the knee down if you want to, but you're going to press into the hands and step your right leg back and make your way into a plank pose. So the legs are long, the heels are back, the heart reaches forward. And then you'll exhale to drop the knees, shift the shins forward a little bit, knees wide, big toes come together, and then sit back onto your heels. Lengthening the arms long and letting your torso fall to the ground. This is a child's pose. This is a perfect place to rest whenever you need it. If you're feeling that sensitivity in the knees, you can put a blanket in any position that would give you a little bit more comfort. Take another deep breath in and out, letting your exhale soften you just a little bit closer to the ground. Feeling that expansion of the low back. Take another full breath in and out. And then you shift back onto hands and knees, taking your time to find that even balance of wrists underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the wrists. Oh, excuse me, knees underneath the hips. Inhale to lengthen the left leg this time, reaching it long back behind you. Exhaling, knee in towards your nose as you round the back body. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling, knee in towards your nose. Continue that practice, recognizing that a lot of yoga is asking us to balance, to find balance. And so we try to do the same movement on each side of the body. 1 more, inhale to lengthen. Exhale, knee in towards your nose, stepping the foot or walking it in between your thumbs. Setting up a really nice sturdy base for yourself. Fingers stay on the ground or onto blocks if you need them. It's okay for your belly to be resting onto the thighs here, but press firmly into your whole bottom of the left foot. And take a full breath in and out. Just bringing awareness to the shape, sinking the hips down as much as you can. breathing into any spaces of discomfort. And if it's pain, that's different. We back away. But discomfort, we try to offer it a little breath, a little compassion, and see if it changes, see if it moves. And then we're going to tuck the right toes into the ground. Inhale to lift the right knee, reaching the right heel back. Take a full breath in and out. Planting the hands firmly. You can drop the knee if it's helpful, but we step back to a plank pose. Legs are long, heels reach back, and crown reaches forward. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. This time we take a full breath in, and our exhale is a downward facing dog. So we shift the hips up and back, keep the heels lifted, the arms along. You can have a little bend in the knees here, but we're creating a long line from tailbone to crown in a little bit of a triangle shape. And from here, I encourage everyone to bend one knee and then the other, pedaling out the feet. This is what we call pedaling out the feet, or some people call it walking the dog. But seeing if you can stretch into the sides of the hips and the back sides of the legs, but always keep the back of the neck soft, letting the head dangle. You're looking back towards your thighs or towards your feet. Spreading the fingers wide, reaching fingers far away from the heels. Take one more full breath in and a full breath out. And then we inhale forward to plank pose. Shoulders over wrists, heels reach back. Exhale, we drop the knees to the ground. Bend the elbows, hugging them in so that they reach back, and our heart comes to the ground as well. And then lower the hips down. Inhale, you reach the heart forward, press into the hands to find a little lift of the chest, baby cobra. Exhale to lower the forehead to the mat. Once again, press into the hands, lift the chest, roll the shoulder back, lift the eyes. Exhale, we shift back to child's pose again. So the knees come open, the big toes come together, lengthen the arms long as you let your body release towards the ground. Take one full, refreshing breath here. Shift back onto the hands, tuck the toes, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Your next inhale, you lift the right leg to the sky. It doesn't have to get to a certain height or anything. Then your exhale, it's the same movement, knee in towards your nose. You're shifting the weight forward so your wrists, your shoulders are over your wrist, and then drop the foot, wiggle it, and walk it in between the thumbs. Yeah, the same lunge position we were finding before. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Everybody drop the back knee. Untuck the back toes so your shin is on the ground, giving a little support. And then press into the big toe of your right foot, reach forward, and then use the core to lift yourself up. This is sometimes called a crescent lunge. In the Lotus flow, we call this Anjaneyasana. So with that right foot firmly planted into the ground, sink the hips a little bit deeper into the mat. Yeah, reach through the side body to lengthen up the fingers to the sky, and then exhale to drop the shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze the belly a little bit. Take one more full breath in. Your exhale, you release the hands down to frame the right foot. Here is a chance for you. You can use your water bottle or a block underneath the left hand. And we twist open the right fingertips to the sky. And we're trying to twist as much from the belly instead of from the shoulders. So drag that right hip back, circle the left shoulder away from the ear, and engage through the right fingertips up towards the sky. A deep breath in And a deep breath out. One more full inhale. Exhale to unwind. Come back to frame that front foot. From here, you're going to tuck the left toes into the ground. You're going to shift the hips back as you lengthen this right leg. The toes can come off the ground. This might be called a runner's stretch. You're folding over your long leg. There can definitely be a little bend in the knee here. Take a deep breath and lift the heart up. Look forward. Exhale to let yourself fold a little more. Great job, everyone. Replant the right foot, bending the knee. Plant the hands. Lift the back knee off the ground. And then you're going to lengthen both legs and parallel the toes to the left. So you're in a wide leg straddle. This is called Prasarita Uttanasana. So take a deep breath in and lift the heart and lengthen through the spine. Exhale to let yourself fold over your wide legs. A little bend in the knees is definitely okay. See if your toes can come slightly more in than the heels. And then bend one knee and then the other, moving back and forth from side to side. Keep coming back to the breath. Deep breath in and out. Let the back of the neck go. Take one more breath like this, really releasing yourself over the wide legs in your fold. Then you're going to walk your hands back to the right, turn the right toes forward, low lunge. Step back to plank pose. Body is long, heels reach back. Then your exhale, you drop the knees, bend the elbows right back, hugging them in towards the ribs, drop the chest to the ground. Inhale to glide the heart forward and up, roll the shoulders back, baby cobra. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog, Ardha Chandrasana. Take a full breath in and a full breath out, keeping that connection to the ground by spreading the fingers wide. Your next inhale lifts the left leg high. Exhaling, knee in towards your nose. Body shifts forward so your shoulders are over your wrists, and then you step your foot, wiggle it, walk it, do whatever you need to do to get it between your thumbs. And we're in our low lunge again. You can everyone drop the back knee and untuck those right toes. Your right shin is into the ground. Let the heart shift forward as the hips sink down a little bit. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. And then our inhale, we reach forward and lift on up with a little bit of belly strength. Anjaneyasana. Reaching through the pinky side of the fingers to really feel the space created between your ribs. And lifting up through the crown, hugging the ribs in just a little bit. Take a deep breath in. Your exhale, maybe you sink down a little more. And then after another breath in, you exhale to release the hands down, preparing for your twist. So maybe you grab a block, maybe you don't need one today. Your right hand stays rooted. Twist open the left fingertips to the sky. You have the option here to also tuck those right toes into the ground and lift the back knee for something a little bit more intense, but it's optional. But stay for one more deep breath in and deep breath out. Unwind, framing that front foot. Keep the left toes tucked into the, your right toes are tucked into the ground, and we find our little runner's stretch by shifting the hips back, lengthening the left leg, lifting the left toes off the ground. Take a deep breath in to lift the heart, look forward. Exhale to fold. This stretch is called Ardha Chandrasana, half monkey pose, half splits. And then replant the left foot. Lift the back leg, lift your right leg. Lengthen slowly the left leg, parallel the toes. Wide leg forward fold towards your right. Yeah. And then take another moment here to bend one knee and then the other. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Walking your hands back to the left, framing your front foot. This time we step the right foot to meet the left at the top of your mat and fold over your legs, letting the back of the neck release and hang. This is called Uttanasana, long leg forward fold. You can definitely have a little bend in the knees, even if you want to have your block or water bottle underneath the hands for a little extra support. But see how you can lengthen the back of the neck, softening the back of the neck to dangle a little bit. This pose is really wonderful for the low back, as well as for finding some flexibility in the backs of the legs. Bend one knee and then the other. You'll feel a nice stretch in the sides of the hips. One more breath in and out. And then with a gentle bend in the knees, press into both feet, roll up to stand, but let your head be the last thing to arrive. It's like a little massage for each vertebrae. Arriving to the top and rolling your shoulders back, lifting the crown up towards the sky, and then we let the palms face forward, the fingers engage down. This is called Tadasana, mountain pose. Take another full breath in and a full breath out. Your next inhale, we circle the arms wide and find a high prayer. Your exhale lets the prayer come to your third eye, to your heart, and then washes all the way down to the ground as you fold forward. Plant the hands. Inhale to step your right leg back to find that low lunge pose that we've practiced a few times. And then plant the hands, exhale into downward facing dog. Hips come up and back, feet are together. You don't have to have the heels on the ground, but you can reach them down towards the ground. Inhale forward to plank pose, shoulders over wrists, heels reach back. Exhale to lower down. Maybe it's in one piece or maybe you drop the knees first, but we let the heart come to the earth. Inhale to glide the heart forward, roll the shoulders back. Cobra, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale to lift your right leg high. Exhale, knee in towards your nose so you can step it or walk it to come in between your thumbs. Inhale to look up and then drag the left foot to meet the right. Exhale to fold over your both legs. Inhale to press into the feet, circle the arms wide to find a high prayer as you come up to stand. Exhale the prayer to your third eye, to your heart. And hands by your side, Tadasana. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Inhale, high prayer. Exhale to let the prayer wash down your center line. Plant the hands. Inhale your left foot back. Look up in a low lunge, sinking the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really gripping the fingers into the mat. Inhale, forward to plank pose, shoulders over wrist, heels reach back. Exhale to lower down, elbows are always hugging in towards the ribs. Inhale for your cobra, lifting the heart, rolling the shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg high. Exhale, knee towards your nose and stepping it, walking it in between your thumbs. Inhale to look up and drag right foot to meet the left. Exhale to fold. Press into the feet as you start to rise, wide arms. Inhale, high prayer. Exhale the prayer to your third eye, to your heart, and hands by your side. These rounds of Vinyasa are called Surya Namaskar, salute to the sun. And it's meant to be practiced in the morning, but it's meant to stimulate some heat in the body. So we're gonna do one more round on both sides, and we're really gonna focus on keeping one breath per movement. And you know, it may get a little heated, and that's okay. Inhaling to circle the arms wide. Exhale to fold. Place the hands, inhale your right foot back, look up, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank pose. Exhale to lower as you like. One piece, knees first, chaturanga, whatever you need to do. Inhale to lift the heart, roll the shoulders back, a little higher, cobra. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale to lift your right leg high. Exhale to step it forward. Inhale to look forward and then drag left foot to meet the right. Exhale to fold. Inhale, press into the feet to rise on up, high prayer. Exhale the prayer to your third eye, to your heart, and hands by your side. Inhale, high prayer. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, inhale your left foot back, look up, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank pose. Exhale to lower down as you like. Inhale, pressing into the hands to lift the heart, roll the shoulders back, tuck the toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to lift your left leg high. Exhale to step it forward between your hands. Inhale, right foot comes to meet the left. Exhale to fold. One last time, we inhale to rise all the way up, high prayer. Exhale the prayer to your third eye, to your heart, hands by your side. This time, we inhale high prayer. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees so your belly is onto your thighs. Let the hips sink down. And then our next inhale, we find Utkatasana chair pose. So the legs stay exactly as they are, and we lift the chest, sparking up the belly and the legs a little bit. So you can definitely have a curve in the back, but we're lifting the heart, pressing firmly into the feet. Maybe the weight is more into the heels than into the toes. Pull the belly button up or back and up to feel that fire in the belly. This pose, Utkatasana, translates into fierce pose. It asks you to call onto your strength and your ferocity. Take one more deep breath in, sink a little deeper. Inhale, high prayer. Exhale to fold. Plant the hands, inhale, right foot back and then left foot back to plank pose. The body is long. Exhale to lower down as you like. Inhale to roll the heart forward and up, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, at any time in our practice today, you need to take a child's pose for a little bit of rest, a moment to come back to your breath. You absolutely can. Take another full breath in and full breath out. Inhale to lift your right leg high. Exhale to step it forward between your thumbs. Seal the back heel to the ground. You want your toes pointed at a diagonal forward. Drag the right hip back. In the same movement, we reach forward and lift the torso, arms overhead, hips facing forward. This is called Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Your right knee is pretty much right over the right ankle, dragging the right hip back as the left hip drags forward. You can always open the stance a little bit if you need to. But reaching up through the side body, through the pinkies. Take a full breath in. Exhale, see if you can sink a little deeper. And then your next inhale lengthens the front leg, parallels the toes, adjusting the feet, find that prayer overhead. We call this flying warrior. Exhale, we fold into that wide leg forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Take a breath in to come up, bringing the fingertips to the ground, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And then inhale to come up for a halfway lift. Right fingertips stay underneath the nose, and then you'll twist open the left fingertips to the sky. Seeing if you can still lengthen from tailbone to crown. Take a full breath in and out. You can unwind, press into the feet, a little bend in the knees allows you to rise on up, finding high prayer again, flying warrior. Exhale the prayer to your heart, and then turn the right toes forward. You open the arms wide, bend the right knee to come over the right ankle, and it's warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. In this pose, our energy is moving, expanding outward. So your gaze is looking over your middle finger and reaching through the fingers behind you and in front of you to find balance in the column, in the spine, in the core. Your front toes are pointed directly forward. Your left toes are the same at a diagonal, slightly forward. And your right knee is gently swiveling open towards the pinky side of the foot to feel the hips really working here. Take a full breath in, a full breath out. And then you're gonna flip the right palm, reach forward slightly. Inhale to tip it backwards, lengthening the right side body. And then we bring our right forearm to the right thigh, dragging the tailbone underneath, and then sweeping the left arm across the body, across the face, and by the ear. So the left fingers are reaching forward in a strong left arm. There's a little bit of a twist happening as the right ribs want to go towards the left side, left corner of your mat. Dropping the tailbone just a little bit. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. This is called extended side angle pose. And it can be a little challenging, but we want to stay present. Keep the legs engaged, the feet engaged. Take one more breath in and out, and then we cartwheel the hands down to frame that front foot. Step back to plank pose. You can choose to take a vinyasa, which is to lower down and open the heart, or you can meet us in a downward facing dog. If you're taking a vinyasa, your exhale lets you lower to the ground. Your inhale opens the heart, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Then we balance it out onto the other side. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale to step it forward between your thumbs. Seal the back heel down. Drag the left hip back, reach forward and rise on up. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Good job, everyone. If you're finding it's hard to keep your balance, I suggest shifting the feet a little bit, closing the stance maybe, or bringing the feet a little wider together so that your hips can face forward. Yeah. Take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. And then our inhale lengthens the front leg, prayer overhead, shifting the feet, paralleling the toes, flying warrior, and exhale to fold over your wide legs, Prasarita Padottanasana. Inhale to come up onto the fingertips, flat back. Exhale to fold. And then inhale to come to flat back. Your left fingertips are underneath the nose. Right fingertips twist open to the sky. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then you unwind, untwist, press into the feet, a little bend in the knees, flying warrior as you rise on up with a high prayer. Exhale the prayer to your heart. Turn the left toes forward, open the arms, and it's Virabhadrasana 2. There's a little adjustment of the back foot happening so that your toes are pointed at a diagonal. And remember that your left knee is swiveling open towards the left pinky side of the foot. engaging through the fingertips. You may even inhale to lift the shoulders, exhale to roll them down the back body, away from the ears, and finding as much strength and length as possible. Stay engaged with that right thigh. Take another deep breath in and out. Then you flip the left palm, reach forward slightly, inhale to tip it backwards, lengthening the side body. And then exhale, extended side angle. Left forearm to the left thigh, a little closer to the knee than it is towards your hip. And your right arm sweeps across the body and up by your ear, but dropping the shoulder away from the ear and finding length through the fingers. You can even imagine a long line from your right middle finger all the way down towards your right heel on the ground behind you. Draw the pelvis underneath you so you can lean back and open the heart. Take a deep breath in and out. And then you can cartwheel the hands down, taking your optional vinyasa if you'd like to, plank pose, lower to the ground. Inhale to open the heart, roll the shoulders back, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. In Lotus Flow, we take 1 or 2 more rounds. For today, it will just be 1 more round of building off of the same sequence. So inhale, your right leg high. Exhale to step it forward. Seal the back heel, drag the right hip back, reach forward and up. Virabhadrasana 1. Lengthen the front leg, flying warrior. This time, we're gonna bring the heels in and the toes out. Bring the prayer to your heart. It's a modified Kali pose, goddess pose. So start to bend the knees and shift back and forth a little bit. Yeah. Take a deep breath in, lift up, lengthen the legs. Exhale to sink down into the hips. Yeah, take another deep breath in. Exhale, stick out your tongue, lion's breath. Really clearing it out, yeah. And then inhale, lengthen the legs, find that high prayer, parallel the toes again. We're gonna find our warrior 2 to the top of the mat, turning the right toes forward and opening the arms. And right away, we flip the front palm, reach forward, peaceful warrior. And then extended side angle. So your right forearm onto the right thigh. If you have a block or a water bottle, you want to bring it to the inside of the foot, put your hand there. That's an option as well. But reach the left fingertips towards the front of the room. Dropping the shoulder away from the ear. From here, we're gonna find Konasana, triangle pose. So we lengthen the right leg, drag the right hip back, drop the hand to the shin or to your piece of support on the inside of the hand, and then open up the heart. The left fingertips reach towards the sky. Yeah, keep dragging the right hip back to create space in the side body and firmly plant the feet. See if you can guide your breath downwards, engaging the legs and the feet. A little micro bend in the knees is totally okay. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then rebend the right knee, reach forward, tip it backwards, peaceful warrior. And then we're launching forward into what we call Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. If you have a block, now is a beautiful place to use it. Your right hand is going to go about 6 inches in front of the right foot. Start to balance onto the right leg, kicking the left leg back behind you. If you need to, try a few times, dropping the toes, that's okay. We're practicing balancing here. And then the left fingertips reach up towards the sky. So your heart is facing towards the side of your mat. Take a deep breath in. Engage the belly, find some confidence. Imagine that long line from tailbone to crown. Exhale to square the hips, bring both feet to the ground. Uttanasana, forward fold. And then bend the knees a lot, belly towards the thighs. Another Utkatasana. Fierce pose, chair pose as you lift the heart and keep the seat nice and low. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. Then your next inhale, you lengthen the legs, prayer overhead. Take a little bit of a back bend. And exhale, slowly letting the prayer wash down your center line as you fold over your legs. Now you can take a vinyasa or you can skip it. So the same idea, stepping back to plank pose, exhaling to lower down, inhaling to open the heart, exhaling, downward facing dog. Beautiful work, yogis. I'm so proud of you. You're sticking with it. We're trying new things. Inhale, your left leg high. Exhale to step it forward between your thumbs. Seal the back heel down. Drag the left hip back, reach forward with the arms and lift the torso. Beautiful. Right away, we lengthen the front leg, parallel the toes, find that prayer overhead, flying warrior. This time the prayer comes to the heart. The heels come in, the toes come out. We have another goddess pose, Kali pose as you bend the knees, shift from side to side a little bit, opening up the hips. And then inhale to stand up with legs long. Exhale to sink down. Really let yourself release. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, let something out the mouth. One more time. We inhale, lengthen the legs. Exhale, release. And then lengthen the legs, parallel the toes. Warrior two, left toes point forward, bend in the left knee as you widen the arms. Yeah, beautiful. Great job, everyone. And we're going to find our extended side angle again. So left forearm to left thigh, reaching the fingers towards the front of the room. If you took it a little deeper on the other side, I encourage you to do the same on this one. And transition into triangle pose. You lengthen the left leg, drag the left hip back, left hand to the shin. It can even be as high as the thigh. Do whatever feels comfortable for you, but then reach the right fingertips towards the sky, creating nice long lines. Micro bends in the knees are totally okay. See if you can drag the left hip back to create as much space in the left side body. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Beautiful. Rebend the left knee, reach forward with the left hand, tip it backwards, peaceful warrior. Launching forward into Ardha Chandrasana, left hand to the ground or to the block, about 6 inches in front of your left foot, and kicking the right leg back behind you, really pressing into the heel of that right leg and opening the heart. You can lift the right fingers to the sky if you'd like. This is balancing, which can be very challenging for some people, so that's okay. You can always tap the right foot to the ground. Try it again. Take a deep breath in. Stay with that confidence. And your exhale squares the hips, brings both feet to the ground. Fold over your legs, Uttanasana. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Shake out the back of the neck. We have one more Utkatasana. So sitting the hips low and then lifting the heart. Beautiful, yogis. Take another deep breath in and out. And then your inhale lets you lengthen the legs, prayer overhead, a little back bend. A head rush may come. Slowly bring the prayer down your center line as you fold over your legs. You have one more chance for a vinyasa here if you want to take it. Stepping back to plank. If you're skipping it, you can just meet us in downward facing dog. So from here, we're actually gonna walk our feet slowly towards our hands, one footprint after the other. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then slowly press into the feet to rise on up to stand. And a little more balancing pose. I'm going to face this direction. You're going to stand onto your left foot. So maybe slowly bringing the weight into all four corners of the left foot and gently bringing the right knee in towards your chest. If you feel a little unsure about your balancing and you want to come closer to a wall like this, you absolutely can. But the right knee is going to come in towards the chest. We roll the shoulders back, hammock the hands underneath the thigh. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Exhale, maybe you lengthen through the leg. Yeah, you don't have to. It's the next step of this pose, but take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I suggest rebending the knee for the moment. You can always lengthen again, but your left hand's gonna come to the outside of the right thigh. Then we twist open the right fingertips towards the back of the mat. Yeah, and stay with the breath. Good job, Arthur. Absolutely, if you need to bring the toes to the ground, you can, but let's find this twist in the upper body. Maybe, if you'd like, you can lengthen the right leg in your twist. Yeah, beautiful, everyone. Take a deep breath in, and then we unwind. Bring both feet to the ground. Shake it out a little bit. And then we're gonna bring our weight into the right leg this time, lifting the left knee into the chest. But this time we cross the left leg over the right, bringing the left toes to the ground. We're moving on to a modified eagle pose. If you'd like to take a full eagle pose by wrapping the leg a full time around your standing leg, you can. But I'd absolutely suggest bringing the left toes to the ground. If that is also difficult for you, what you can do is bring your block or your water bottle just outside of the right foot and put the left toes there. But we're gonna open the arms wide as we inhale. Exhale, your left arm comes underneath the right. Find a wrapping of the arms or hugging the shoulders behind you. Then you inhale to lift up, feeling tall through the crown of the head. Exhale to sit deeply, kind of like Utkatasana, as the elbows come down towards the knees. Fire up the belly a little bit. Take a deep breath in. Keep the eyes looking up, looking forward. Exhale. Take another full breath in and out. And then you're gonna unwind the arms, unwind the legs right into what we call warrior three. So kicking the left leg back behind you as you wing the arms back to the side or forward, whatever works for you. But see if you can let your heart be parallel to the ground. Take one breath in and out to stay. And then a bend in the left knee reaches it behind the right ankle. Bring the hands to the ground. Slowly start to make your way into a seat where we have the right leg crossed over the left. If you don't have both sit bones on the ground, sitting like this, I encourage you to lengthen your left leg. If this still feels difficult, you have the option to grab your blanket and put it underneath the hips for a little bit of lift. But plant the right foot firmly into the ground. Inhale your right arm high. Twist over to the right. Drop the right fingertips behind you. Roll the shoulders back. Sit up nice and tall. Twisting from the belly, you can hug the right thigh in with the left arm. Take another breath in to feel the length, tailbone to crown. Exhale to twist. Maybe you look behind you. A deep breath in. And a deep breath out. One more like that. Maybe you close your eyes, bring some awareness to this cleansing breath. Your next inhale lets you unwind, take a counter twist, fingers to the outside of your left hip and drop the head. You can also bring the forehead all the way to the ground, but it's not necessary. And then we find another altar pose to kind of balance us out. So our feet are right in front of us, knees point up, fingers point forward, right by the hips, inhaling to press into hands and feet. Exhale out the mouth. And then lower the sit bones down, cross the ankles, roll over the shins, find downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And onto the other side, we take a slow walk to the top of the mat, really stretching out the backs of the legs. Meet in Uttanasana, forward fold. And then your inhale lets you slowly rise on up. Your head is the last thing to get to the top. Gorgeous, everyone. Slowly shifting the weight into the right foot, finding all four corners of the foot to stay nice and balanced and strong, and then hugging the left knee in towards the chest, hammocking the hands underneath. Roll the shoulders back so you can stand up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in and out. And then we're gonna, first we inhale, and our exhale lets us lengthen the back of the leg. Ooh, it's hard for me on this leg. Always know that each side of the body may tell a different story. But see if you can stick with it. Take a deep breath in and out, and then rebend the knee. Right hand comes to the outside of that left thigh. Stand up even taller, and then glide the left fingertips towards the back of the mat as you twist. If you need to drop the feet a little bit to catch your balance, that's totally okay. Arthur, I believe you should be, oh no, you got it. You got it right. Great. Reach, reach, reach. Maybe you lengthen through the left leg here, but stay nice and tall through the spine. And maybe you hop around like David, but that's okay. And then unwind. Bring both legs to the ground, shake it out if you need to. Take a deep breath in and out. So eagle pose onto the other leg. So we're standing on the left leg this time. Bringing the right knee up and then crossing it over using whatever modifications you need to. A block, or you can take your full eagle leg twistings if you'd like. Then we inhale to open the arms. Exhale, right arm underneath the left for your full eagle rocking or hugging the shoulders behind you. They both give the same sensation. Inhale to get nice and long through the spine. Exhale to shift the hips back as you fold your elbows towards your knees. There's a little bit of a rounding of the back body, a puffing up of the back body to engage the belly and keep the eyes looking forward. If you found that you're struggling, come back to the breath. Take another full breath in and a full breath out. And then unwind the arms. Keep the heart reaching parallel to the ground. Unwind the legs. Kick your right leg back behind you, warrior three. Toes are pointed down towards the ground. Tailbone to spine, to crown, nice and long. Take a deep breath in. A deep breath out. Gorgeous. And then gently bend that right knee, dropping it behind the left ankle to the outside edge of the left ankle, making your way onto the ground, and then making any adjustments you need to make. Lengthening that bottom leg, adding a blanket for support. But whenever we take a twist from the ground, we want to make sure that our hips are balanced, because that lets us know that our spine is balanced so that it can twist. It's a safe space for it to twist. So inhale your left arm high. Exhale to twist over to the left and then drop the fingertips behind you, giving some support to the spine, lifting up a little taller. And then you can hug the knee with your right arm and continue the twist, maybe looking behind you. Breathe into that stretch on the outer left hip. See if you can soften the breath just a little bit. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more, seeing if you can cleanse yourself of any tension or worries or judgments that may still be holding on. Just let it go. Your next inhale lets you unwind, come through center, and then take a counter twist. Maybe it just means you drop your head a little bit. One more altar pose to balance us out. Feet to the ground, fingers point forward, knees point up. Inhale, pressing into hands and feet. Exhale, lion's breath. And then lower the sit bones down. We're going to take one Navasana for a little more active pose before we totally settle down. So lengthen the whole back, lifting up, 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 lifting the heart forward. Bring your hands underneath the thighs and then start to bring your toes to the ground. Roll the shoulders back. Boat pose Navasana. We start to balance on the sit bones, reaching the legs parallel to the ground maybe. And keep reaching the heart forward, belly button back towards the spine. Maybe you decide to reach towards the toes, keeping yourself lifted. And then exhale to release. Then we're gonna make our way onto our back. So laying back, I'm gonna turn around this way. Laying back so your whole spine is supported, feet are on the ground, knees are pointing up, your heels come close in towards the sit bones, arms are long on the mat beside you, fingertips are reaching towards the heels, palms onto the mat. Spend a full breath here, just feeling that supported spine. Maybe you can notice the ribs expanding with each inhale. Softening a little bit more as you exhale. Then we're going to take a bridge pose. So your toes are just slightly more in than the heels. Your inhale presses into the feet and into the backs of the shoulders to lift the hips off the ground. You can stay here. If this is already too difficult or uncomfortable, you can bring your folded blanket underneath the tailbone and find a little rest here. If you want to take a little more engagement of the legs and of the heart, lift the hips higher, wiggle the shoulders underneath you, and clasp the hands underneath you, reaching knuckles towards your heels, pressing into the big toes to find that lift. Take 3 deep breaths here, filling up the heart space, expanding the heart here. Strengthening the back. One more full breath in. And exhale, unclasp the hands, unwiggle the shoulders, slowly, slowly bringing the back and the hips back down to the ground. And then bring your feet wide. Let your knees knock in. And take a few windshield wiper movements, knocking the knees from one side to the other to release the low back and the hips. Nice. We're going to take it one more time. If you'd like to have this restorative pose, then yes, grab your blanket and simply rest with it underneath the tailbone. You're going to go for one more bridge pose. Settle the feet hip width distance apart. Big toes come slightly in. Fingers reach towards the heels. Your inhale presses into feet and into the backs of the shoulders to lift the hips, and wiggle the shoulders underneath you to clasp the hands. We want to feel a nice length happening through the arms to encourage length in the spine. Pressing into the feet so that the low back doesn't have to take the weight and feels stretched instead of doing the work. Take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Each breath is giving your insides, your organs, a nice massage, rejuvenating the blood flow. And then your next exhale lets you unwind the shoulders, unclasp the hands, and bring the hips back down to the ground. You can remove your blanket if you had one. One more moment of windshield wipering the knees back and forth. And then you're going to hug your knees in towards your chest. Very gentle. It doesn't need to be an aggressive hug. Just hands onto the tops of the kneecaps. And do a few little tiny circles with the knees. Can be really nice for the tailbone. Exploring the body. Maybe today you like them to be super tiny circles, or maybe you like them to be a little bit bigger. But using the own body to offer healing and comfort. And then switch directions. Nice. From here, we're going to take a happy baby pose. So your knees come wide. Gravity starts to let them drop towards the armpits. And then you kick your feet up as if you're in a little box and the feet want to be pressing up into the ceiling. Your hands can either be onto the backs of the thighs for a little reaching, can be on the outer edge of the shins, or they can come to the outer edges of the feet. But we want to make sure that the backs of the shoulders are relaxed onto the ground, as well as the backs of the hips and the tailbone. So if you're reaching and you're trying to reach for the feet, but you're all the way lifted off the ground, bring the hands to the shins or to the thighs so that you can relax the back body. And you can even roll a little bit from side to side, letting the hips release, letting gravity take over. And take a deep, deep, deep breath in and out. And then we'll take a gentle twist. The knees come together and they drop on over to the left, twisting open the shoulder gently to the right. There doesn't need to be any kind of perfect stacking here. We're just trying to lengthen the side body, give each part of the body a little rejuvenation, a little less active stretching than we were doing before. I encourage you to bring your left hand to the right thigh for a little more of this stretch. Your left hand can also come to the right hip and start to drop it down to lengthen the side body, just feeling what that's like. It's almost like a little self-massage. And then we come back through center. Spend a moment with your whole spine firmly planted on the ground, fully supported. And then draw the knees in and drop them over to the right, twisting the body over to the left. There's no true destination in this pose today. Just see if you can find somewhere comfortable while still expanding with each breath, stretching and releasing, letting the breath spiral through the whole body, throughout the whole spine. Deep breath in, deep breath out. From here, everybody roll over onto your right side. Press that left hand into the ground. coming on up to sit. If you have your blanket, have it nearby. And for today, yeah, we're gonna each have it right underneath our sit bones for this forward fold. So have your blanket sit on the edge of it and lengthen your legs out long in front of you. This forward fold, long leg forward fold, is called Paschimottanasana. And my number one instruction for this fold is actually to find a pelvic tilt. We were doing this earlier in the practice, but to get there from this position, bend your knees without moving your heels or your hips. You can feel that your pelvis tilts forward just a little bit. We want to keep the low back nice and long. The upper back can round a little bit, but your inhale lengthens up through the crown of the head, drops the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale your heart towards your toes. Your belly may come onto the thighs. You may find that this is as far as you go today. That's wonderful. You can drop the head and close the eyes. If you want to take another deep breath in to lengthen through the crown, your exhale maybe lets you fold a little deeper. You can even bring the arms underneath the knees and then drop the head and take 5 deep breaths. This pose encourages a little bit of inward vision, some time exploring our inner self, preparing ourselves for the final pose of our practice, which is a Rest Savasana. But here is where we can quiet the mind, perhaps revisiting the intention you held for your practice today. Slowly roll on up out of the pose, and then you're going to lay back, lengthening the whole body onto the ground. I suggest using your blanket and rolling it up and putting it underneath the knees so that when you lay back, your spine and your low back is nice and supported. Your feet can be wider than the hips here. The palms are facing up as you lengthen the arms. Oops. Lengthening the arms next to your body. Take a deep breath in, squeeze the face, squeeze the fingers, squeeze the toes. Exhale to let it go, reminding yourself that you're always capable of finding a sense of relaxation. Close the eyes and allow yourself to rest. You have nothing else to do but just breathe here, possibly letting each breath soften you a little closer to the ground. This rest that we take in Shavasana can be considered the most important part of our practice. Taking the time to integrate the lessons and the challenges that we've conquered, and giving the physical body and the mind space to recover and rest so we can be that much more prepared to enter the world. Take a full breath in to fill your whole body. Let a sigh out your mouth. Put a little wiggle in your fingers and toes to come back to yourself. And then slowly bringing both feet to the ground, knees point up, reconnecting back to the physical world, to the mat, to the earth. And then one hand comes to your belly and one hand to your heart. We pause for a moment of gratitude. Gratitude to the teachings and the teachers of yoga. And gratitude to the breath, to the body. Slowly roll over onto your right side, curling up into a little ball, a fetal position, offering yourself a nice squeeze or hug of compassion and comfort. Take 2 more breaths here, preparing to be rebirthed back into your world, a little more space and openness and ease of breath. Press the left hand into the ground and slowly make your way on up to sit. Adjusting your cushion so you can find that meditative seat once again. And this time we bring a prayer to our heart, letting the thumbs press right up against the sternum, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to end our practice with the sound of Om. You can join me if you'd like, but the sound of Om is considered to be the sound of everything, the highest vibration from which everything was birthed, everything was created. And the sound exists within each of us and all things to remind us of the oneness of our world, but also of that power, of that goodness that is inherent in all of us. Take a deep breath in. Letting all of this beautiful, gentle, kind energy that we've created with each other to go out into the world, cultivating more health, peace, and kindness. Honoring that divine light within each, every one of us. We bow down and say, Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis, for sharing your practice with me. It was really such an honor. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and that you feel ready and confident to step into some of our other classes. We have live stream classes daily of different styles. Most of them are all levels classes. They'll be a little faster than this one, but I think you'll feel ready to do so.